Good day. This is Bennett, also known as Jeremiah. Today we're going to read Sigma notation in past papers. If you haven't dealt with the basics, I would encourage you to watch the video on the basics. That video is found at the end of this video. It is also found right here on the top right of the screen at the suggested video. If you're interested in more similar videos, the playlist is also found at the end of this video. Alright, let's begin. Alright, let's start with 2014. So notice that they gave you a pattern 2, 9, 16 and continuous up to 251 terms. So 2014 is the easiest one so far. They say it express the series in sigma notation. So let's talk about the word sigma. Sigma represents sum, which is the shortcut for summation. So if you see them giving you a term, let's just say they give you a term and they say k is equals to 1 and they said maybe here's 20 and then they say it is equals to, so this is not realistic, it's just an example. They are saying the sum of this pattern from when you substitute this number up until when you substitute this number is equals to 200. So they're saying the sum of this whole thing is 200, right? So the sum of this whole thing starting from here to here is 200. So whenever we see sigma, we know that we have to use the sum formula. So every time we do sigma notation, we know we always have to consider the first three terms. So we're going to have 2 plus 9 plus 16. And then let's find out our a. So our a is 2 and this is an arithmetic sequence. So this is an arithmetic sequence because the difference here is 7 and 7 again. So it means we have got a common difference. So our d is 7. So they ask you to express this series in sigma notation. So we're just gonna say the sum, right? So the sum. So we do need to know the formula. So let's just get the formula. So we have this stuff. So we're just gonna have Tn. There is a shortcut, but I'm just using this for the sake, for the fact that most people are using this. So this is gonna be 2 plus n minus 1 d. Some people write dn minus 1, which is still fine. So yeah, some students write dn minus 1. So which is the common difference is actually 7. So yeah, so then it's gonna be 2 plus 7n minus 7. So then it's gonna be 7n, then 2 minus 7 is minus 5. And then let's just test if it's correct. If I substitute the second term, will it give me 9? So if I substitute t2, will it give me 9? So let's substitute t2. Okay, fine. If I substitute 2, it's gonna be 7 times 2, which is 14, minus 5 is 9. So it's correct. Alright, so it means this formula is correct. So therefore I'll just say 5n minus 5. Always test. So you should know the marks that you definitely have. Alright, so then we'll say n is equals to 1. So we start from 1. Yeah, so we start from 1. So notice they said until 251 terms, right? So it means we'll start from 1 until 251. Yeah, so this is only 2 marks, right? It's literally only 2 marks. So if it was more marks, it means we would have to use the sum formula and find out what is the sum of this pattern from this number to this number. Yeah, so we would have to find the sum formula. But anyways, there are other past papers. We'll look at them. So this is it. You just get 2 marks for this stuff. Alright, let's move on to the next past paper. Alright, the next past paper is found in 2015. So the first question says that we must find the general term. So we'll need the general term. So the first question says determine the general term of the series in the form of t sub k is equals to bk plus c. So we're gonna need it for the second question. So the second question is just like the first one that we did. They said write Sn in sigma notation, so it's still easy. So let's deal with the first question first. Let's find the general term. So we're given a pattern -3, so we've got -3 plus 5 plus 13 plus 21, and they said up to n terms. So this time I'm going to use the shortcut. So the shortcut is just dn plus t0. So the actual way to write it is bn plus c, but I wrote dn plus t0 because I want you to be aware that that is the difference and that one is t0. So the difference. What is the difference? So let's find the difference. So the difference is going to be 5 minus negative 3, which is 8. And then 13 minus 5, which is 8. So the common difference is 8. So it means our D is 8. And then T0 is what is the term that would have existed before this term, right? Because notice that this is T1. So T0 is just the term before this term. So if I say minus 3 minus 8 is minus 11. So the term that would have existed before is negative 11. So that is going to be negative 11. So that's the formula. Alright, so we found it. So now the next question says write Sn in sigma notation. So let's just write it in sigma notation. So we'll just say sigma notation over there, and then we'll say 8n minus 11. Again, it's 2 marks, so we don't need to find the actual answer, so we just need to leave it there. So we'll say n starts from 1. So n starts from 1 until how many terms? Alright, we've got a slight problem. They said n terms, but anyways, it doesn't matter because they didn't give us n, and it's just 2 marks, so we don't even need to find the number of terms. So we'll just say from 1 until n, and that is it, literally. So this is represented in sigma notation. So they gave us up to n terms. So because they didn't give us the number of terms, they said up to n terms, we literally put n because it's 2 marks, right? So we don't need to do a lot of working. Let's go to another past paper. Just before I continue, if you want to be tutored, whether it is online or physically, whether it is the situation where you're struggling in maths or whether it is the situation where you're good in maths but want perfection, take a screenshot or save these details. Whether you're studying Cambridge, which is the UK curriculum, or whether you're studying NSC, which is the South African curriculum, or IEB, or native courses which start from N1 to N6, or any curriculum you're doing no matter which country you're at, we offer tutorials. We've got lessons and practice sessions 5 days a week. We also give you tests once a week so that we can check your improvements. Alright, here is another past paper. This is from 2015 February March. So you're given this particular question. So they asked you to calculate the value of this sigma notation. So this is what we're given. So we're given that k is equals to 1, and we're given this equation 100 minus 3k. So we're given this formula. So it starts from 1 until 50. So when they say calculate the value of this stuff, this is the same as them asking you to evaluate, because many students get confused when they ask them to evaluate. So when they ask you to evaluate, they're simply asking you to calculate the value of this. So remember, this just means the sum. So if they ask you to evaluate, or if they ask you to calculate the value of this, they're asking you to calculate the value of the sum. So we need to find the answer, which is the sum. So whenever we're trying to find the answer, we have to expand this. So most of the time when you're doing sigma notation, you always have to expand this into 3 terms. So we have to expand it into the first 3 terms. So notice it starts from 1. So meaning that we'll start by first substituting 1. So we'll have 100 minus 3k, but in place of k we put 1. Then we have 100 minus 3k. In place of k we put 2. Then we have 100 minus 3k. In place of k we put 3. So this continues, but we're not gonna do everything. We just need only the first 3 terms. So we'll also do the last term. So we'll also do the last term. So we're gonna have 100 minus 3, but in place of 3 we put the last substitution, which is 50. So we'll have 50. So that's what we have. So let's simplify this. So 100 minus 3 is just 97. And then we're going to have 100 minus 3 times 2, which is 6. So this is going to be 94. So the third one is 100 minus 9, which is 91. And then we have plus dot dot dot. Then we're going to have 100 minus 3 times 50, which is the same as 100 minus 50. Rather, 100 minus 150, which is the same as negative 50. So you can write negative 50 like this, but there's no need to write it in that form. We can just say negative 50 because this negative is the same as plus times minus. So let's find out the common difference. So this is an arithmetic sequence, so it will obviously have a common difference. So this is gonna be 3, so it's just 3 and 3. So we know that the common difference is 3. So we have got our A is 97 and our D is 3. So now we can find the answer of this stuff. So we have to use the sum of arithmetic since this is arithmetic. So we're going to say Sn is equals to n over 2. Then we're going to say, if you want, you can use 2a plus n minus 1d. But notice we already know the value of the last term, so we can as well substitute it. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it both ways. So in both these, we have to know the number of terms. So from 1 to 50 is just 50 terms. So to get the number of terms, we always say top minus bottom plus 1. So if it started from minus 1, for instance, you would say top minus bottom plus 1. And this would be 50 minus negative 1, which is the same as 50 plus 1, which is 51. Then plus 1 is 52. So it means it would have 52 terms. So the last number here is not necessarily the number of terms. You have to be careful. But in this case, it is the number of terms because it starts from 1. So if it starts from 1, there is no need to use the formula. You can use the formula, it will still give you the same answer, but there is no need. If you use the formula, we'll have 50 minus 1 plus 1. It will still give us 50. So we don't need to use the formula whenever it starts from 1. But if it starts from a different number, be sure to use the formula top minus bottom plus 1 to get the number of terms. So this is going to be 50 terms. So we'll say the sum of 50 terms is the same as 50 over 2. And then we're going to have 2a. Our a is 97. And then we're going to have plus 50 minus 1 times d. So our difference is 3. So the answer of this is 1175. So what about if we use the other formula? If we use Sn is equals to n over 2, and we've got a plus l, because we can literally use it. We know the value of the last term. So we're gonna say S50. So the sum of 50 terms is equals to 50 over 2. Then our a is 97. And then our l is negative 50. So we can say plus minus 50, but we can just simply say minus 50. And you should get the same answer. So there we have it. So whenever they say evaluate, or whenever they ask you to calculate the value of that, you just have to find the answer of the sum to this. So let's go to another past paper. Alright, here is another past paper. So this one is taken from 2021 November. Just before we attempt this question, if you're interested in knowing the prices of the tutorials, the video that contains the prices and the updated contact details, just in case these ones have changed, is found at the end of this video. So you're given 2 questions on sigma notation. So 4.3 asks you to write the expansion of this. They say show only the first 3 terms. Well, this is what we usually do. Every time we're given sigma notation, we always expand it to the first 3 terms. So if it starts from -1, we first substitute -1, then 0, then 1, right? So we always start from the first number that is substituted. So they asked us to expand it to the first 3 terms. So let's do this question. Alright, so let's start with the first thing. So let's start with the first thing that we have to substitute, which is 1. So we're going to have 2, then we're going to have 1 plus 3, then we're going to have 2 into 2 plus 3, and then we're going to have 2 into 3 plus 3. So then this is going to be plus dot dot dot. Then the last term is 2 into 5,000 plus 3. So that's what we have. So let's simplify this. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. And then 2 times 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7. So already we can see that the next number will be 9. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3 is 9. Yeah, so from here we can easily predict the next one. We know that the next one will be 11 and 13 and so on. Alright, so 2 times 5,000 is 10,000 plus 3 is 10,003. So we're going to have 1003. So there we have it. They asked us to expand it to the first 3 terms and the last term. Let's go for the following question. Alright, so now the next question says hence or otherwise. Calculate the value of this. Whenever they say hence, especially in trigonometry, whenever they say hence, we know that we have to use the previous answer to help us. So they said hence or hence otherwise, calculate the value of this stuff. So they asked us to determine this. I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you the normal way to do it and the shortcut. Sometimes you can be able to notice a shortcut. But if you don't notice a shortcut, you just do it the normal way. So let's start with the normal way. So we know we have to expand this into the first 3 terms and the last term and also this as well. But We have already done that for the first part. That's why they said hence. All right, let's deal with this part as well. So I'm just gonna let me just erase this part. So for now, I just want to simplify this part, then I'll deal with the question. So we have to substitute the first three terms and the last term for this part as well, since we already have the first part, right? We already have the first part. So we're going to say minus 2 into 1. So minus 2 into 1 plus 1, rather minus negative 1, minus 1. Then we're going to say plus minus 2, but there's no need to say plus minus 2. You can just say minus 2. But if you want, you can say plus minus 2. Let me just do it for the sake of some students. So let's just say plus minus 2. And then in place of n, we put 2 this time, then minus 1. And then from there, we're going to say plus minus 2 into 3. And then we're going to say minus 1. And then plus dot dot dot. Then we can say plus. Then we're going to have minus 2 into 4999 minus 1. So let's simplify this. So minus 2 times 1 is minus 2, minus 1 is minus 3. So this is minus 3, then minus 2 times 2 is minus 4, minus 1 is minus 5. So minus 5. And then minus 2 times 3 is negative 6, minus 1 is minus 7. So you can already see the pattern. The next one will obviously be minus 9 and so on. So we can say plus dot dot dot, but we know that the next thing is still going to be minus. So yeah, let's just say minus dot dot dot. And then finally the last term. So minus 2 times this stuff, minus 1. If you type it in a calculator, you should get minus 9999. So that's what we have. So if you type it in the calculator, you should get minus 9999. So this is the expanded form. Alright, so now getting back to the question, notice that this part gave us 5, 7, and then we had 9. So we had 5, 7, and then we had 9. And then we have plus dot 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 plus 10,003. And then this particular portion gave us negative 3, negative 5, negative 7, and we've got negative dot dot dot. And then we finally have negative 9999. So I'm going to show you the long cut first. So let's deal with this part first. So we see that it's an arithmetic sequence because the common difference is 2. So our A is 5 and our D is 2. So D is 2. So I'm going to use the short version of the sum formula. So we're going to have Sn is equals to n over 2. Then we have A plus L. If you want, you can use the long version. So that's what we have. So we need to find out how many terms are there. So we can say top minus bottom plus 1. It will give you 5,000. But from the fact that it starts from 1, we can already see that the number of terms are 5,000. So if it starts from 1, the number of terms are the same as the value on top. So the number of terms are 5,000. So we're going to say the sum of 5,000 terms is the same as 5,000 over 2. So 5,000 over 2. And then we're going to say plus A, which is 5, and our L, which is 10,003. So that's what we have. So let's find out the value of this stuff. Alright, so the first part, the answer of the first part would be 25020 So that's the answer of the first part. So now let's also figure out this part. So this part we're gonna have, so I'm gonna use the short formula again. So we're gonna have plus A plus L, and then this side, since it starts from 1, we know that this is already the number of terms. So we're gonna have the sum of 499 terms. So it's gonna be 499 terms is equals to 499 divided by 2. And then we're gonna have our first term, which is minus 3 in this case, right? And then our last term is quadruple 9. So that's what we have. That is gonna give us negative 2499999. So that's what we have. So we just simply have to add the two terms, right? Because they said we have to add this and this, so it means we have to add the sum of this with the sum of this. So we're gonna add them, so therefore it's gonna be 2, 5, 0 to 0 and then double 0, rather triple 0 minus, so it's gonna be 2499. So 24999,999. So let's find out the answer. So that is gonna be 20,001. So there we have it. Alright, so that was the long cut. So now let me show you the shortcut. So let's do the shortcut. So the shortcut is just to notice a trend. So I want you to notice something. Notice that this pattern is almost similar to this pattern. So we just have negatives, meaning that they will somehow cancel out. So notice that we're saying this plus this stuff, right? We're saying this stuff plus this stuff. So therefore we can put plus and then we can put brackets. So I want you to be aware that from -5 it will start cancelling. So -7 will cancel. So the next one after this is -9. It will now cancel with this stuff. So it means everything will cancel up until this portion. This -999 will cancel with the previous term. Alright, so it won't really cancel with the previous term exactly. Let's figure out what term comes before this first. So here we've got 10,003. And then now the term before it is going to be 10,001, right? Because the common difference is 2. And then the term before it is 9999, right? So it means that this will cancel with this. So we'll literally be left with these two terms, right? So notice that when you look at this, everything cancels, right? Everything cancels except for this -3 because there is no 3 here. So -3 is left. And then this 10,003 is left, and then also the previous term before it is left. So basically you'll be left with -3 and you'll be left with 10,001 and you'll also be left with 10,003. So that is what we have. So that is the shortcut. So when we add this stuff we should get the same answer. So that should be 20,001, and there we have it. Alright, we have reached the end of this video. I have included a playlist of similar type of questions. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Any questions you've got or any video you want me to create, please comment below. See you in the next video.